So defensively, you want to send your man to the low side of the block because now you're playing at an unfair advantage. Because you understand what works offensively, so now defensively, you understand what to take away so it doesn't work. So simple hack, shoot your layups on top of the block, on the high side of the block, as opposed to the low side of the block. What I see a lot with basketball players today, and I've been to a number of games, and even with our JUCO Jamboree, I see a lot of athletes missing layups. A lot of athletes are missing layups because, one, they're not concentrating. Two, they don't have their eyes on the rim. So I always tell my athletes, have your eyes up and your chin up, right? If your eyes are down and your chin is down, your head is down. So a lot of players are, you wouldn't believe it, but they're actually closing their eyes on layups because they don't want to get hit or don't want to deal with the contact. But players don't have their chin up and their eyes up. They don't have the proper angle. And a lot of players are watching too much TV, so they're expecting the contact or trying to take the contact instead of absorbing the contact and finishing. So they're looking at the defender coming in, or they're closing their eyes and they have a bad angle. So I've seen a number of athletes, all 5 positions, miss layups considerably, a considerable amount of layups throughout the season, and that's a lack of mental focus. Shooting layups, just like shooting jump shots, is really an art to it. And if you follow the art to the layup, you'll be more successful. But a lot of athletes don't know the basics, or may not be locking into the basics in which they've been taught. And I have one simple rule as well with the blocks, right? So when we're talking about angles, most athletes, that if they're shooting their layups underneath the block, you have a worse angle than if you're shooting on top of the block. So athletes have to learn how to not just go directionally north, south, east, west. The game is played on angles. You have to be able to go northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. That's how you gain advantage, by getting angles. And this is why a lot of athletes are missing layups that I've seen this year. When we talk about layups and getting good angles, right? First, head up, chin up, but angles. This is a simple hack for any athlete, any coach, to teach to their athletes about making layups. So, if an athlete comes down and they're on the low side of the block, this is the low side of the block, this is the high side of the block. If an athlete comes down on the low side of the block, well, they have, I would say, more of an acute angle. It's an okay angle, but if they shoot their layup on top of the block, they have a much better angle. Now it's almost like 45 degrees as opposed to maybe like 23. And now they'll offshoot it, right? They may make it, right? But they may offshoot it. And if it goes totally over. But now if they're shooting on the top side of the block, it makes it easier to shoot that layup. Now, you do have players who play the baseline, get to the baseline. Well, now this is a different shot, right? But again, this is a difficult shot, but it can be made. But again, it's on the low side of the block. So defensively, you want to send your man to the low side of the block because now you're playing at an unfair advantage. Because you understand what works offensively, so now defensively, you understand what to take away so it doesn't work, right? So simple hack. Shoot your layups on top of the block, on the high side of the block, as opposed to the low side of the block. That's a quick hack, and it's a better angle. The same way with bank shots. So with a bank shot, you have to get an angle and you have to get an arc. So for athletes, if you're shooting layups off the glass, or if you're shooting bank shots off the glass, here's another quick hack since we're teaching right now. On the weak side, on your weak side, I'm right-handed, so on my weak side, I want the ball to hit that white point. Every time, I want the ball to hit that point. Now, on my strong side, the ball has to hit right inside of the point because it's a better angle. So you want the ball to hit right on the inside of the point. Because the further out you get, if you attempt to shoot the ball off the point, it may go in, and I'm just a good shooter, but a lot of times you won't. As opposed to getting a better angle, and now you're right on the inside of the point, and the ball goes in. That's how you do it.